Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video talking about Bitcoin and why I think that you should have some Bitcoin, at least a bare minimum amount, something thrown into Bitcoin so that you can be involved in this. And I know there's two sides to this. There's people that really support crypto and people that really don't and really think it's like a scam or it's not going anywhere. But if you look over like the last years of Bitcoin stuff, it's just been a continual uprise in the chart, and you might think that it would be a little bit off because of the big crypto crash of when Bitcoin went from like 19,000, 20,000 back down to 3,000. But if you took advantage of that crash, you could have got in at 3K, and right now we are pushing $10,000 because of the Bitcoin halving happening, which is another big event going on right now, which will probably push the price of Bitcoin up even further. And by the end of the year, we might see Bitcoin at an astronomical number, being because of everything going on in the world and people losing not faith, but losing like confidence in the US dollar with all the printing going on and hyperinflation worries because of stimulus bills and CARE Act and all these different types of things, adding on debt to the national debt and stuff like that. A lot of people losing that kind of confidence in the dollar and going to other things. There are a lot of people going into gold and precious metals to kind of save their money and invest it still and save it from the stock market crashing and stuff. People worried about that. And there's still people going into Bitcoin, which I think is going to be a huge play in the future. Bitcoin, if you look at it, is I believe it's called an asymmetric investment, where the risk of losing your money is way, way smaller than the reward that you can get from Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin was to be worthless and be nothing, I'm pretty sure we would have already seen that. We would have already seen it go to zero because of that big crypto crash and getting out, and everyone would have probably just got out, and Bitcoin would have become worthless. But it's not, and it's still here today, and it's still pretty much going up in price and kind of thriving more that more people know about it now, and that there's easier ways to get it with like Coinbase and things like that. But there is a big reason why you might want to get in Bitcoin. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins mined or available. Right now, I think we're at 18 million, 19 million, somewhere between there. And that is nearing max Bitcoins, and you're going to want some Bitcoin before it's all sorted. And then, I mean, Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot of money, could be worth millions if it takes over the world as a world kind of currency. And I think that is a direction we could be heading in as a planet, because we already have a world language, which is pretty much English. You know, everyone in the world pretty much speaks or understands English, and the civilization steps. There's like three parts to a civilization, and right now I think we're at zero because we don't really have part one, which is utilizing the planet's resources. So the resources within the planet and utilizing that to use it for your own good and own use and all that kind of stuff. And phase two is using the resources from another planet or another planet in the solar system. And then stage three is using the resources from a nearby star and being able to use it what you need from that. And right now we don't really use the resources from the planet. Like, we do use coal and the oil and things like that, but right now we're starting to harness like solar and wind and those types of things, where it's a renewable source and can go on and provide for the planet for basically forever. As long as there is life on Earth, it can support it. So I think we're heading in that direction. Like I said, we already have English as like a world language. We have the internet, which just brings anyone together in the world instantly. You can be on one side of the earth and someone can be in the other, and you can be talking instantly and linked up instantly, looking at the same things at the same time, and that's like the internet. And I don't think anyone would disagree that the internet is a huge thing and massively shapes like how society and the world is working right now. So why wouldn't we go and look towards a internet currency like Bitcoin that is going to connect everyone on the world with monetary value in the digital space? I think that's a big thing to look at. And another huge deal, like literally massive, is China is using their virtual yang. I hope I said it right, but they're using their virtual currency of their Chinese money to test these kind of things. And there are, I think, 23 companies in China right now, and Starbucks and McDonald's are included in those companies testing the digital currency in China. So what's to stop them from seeing success in China and seeing that it can actually work and knowing how to implement it in their payment systems and stuff, to transferring that to the US or Europe, other parts of the world, and accepting Bitcoin with it, which would be their first step, would be to collect Bitcoin or accept Bitcoin, which would cause the value to skyrocket, meaning it's starting to be used as a currency the way that it is, the way that it was meant to be. And I think that's a huge deal where American companies that are in China are testing the waters kind of with that Chinese digital currency. And then if it goes successful and if they think it's like seamless and easy and just as easy as cash or credit cards or debit cards, then I think moving it to the US and to Europe and where other places they're located, obviously it wouldn't be the Chinese digital currency, it would be Bitcoin, because that would be the world's currency, because you can't go to US and have to collect a digital dollar that doesn't exist, although it might exist by then, but it doesn't exist now, and then Europe collect digital pounds, or Britain digital pounds, and it'd just be a mess. It'd be so much easier just to accept Bitcoin and be Bitcoin around the world. So in terms of investing in Bitcoin or buying some Bitcoin is going to be pretty simple, honestly. You just go and get a Coinbase account, and you can buy Bitcoin from there, and you don't have to buy whole Bitcoins at a time. You could just put in $20 and buy $20 worth of Bitcoin and see where it goes from there, and you'll be able to track your investment. $20, you'll be able to see what's worth tomorrow, in a week, in a month, and see, you know, how much money you've either made or lost. There is still a potential to lose money. Obviously, it's crypto, it's super volatile, right? And it's always been that way. But as fast as you can make money, you can lose it. But we've seen, if you've bought in at, you know, consistently every month, even at the all-time highs of $19,000, $20,000, you would still be profitable right now. If you put $100 a month in, up until this point, you would still have more money in that than you've put in. So we've seen that. And I think you want your piece of the pie if Bitcoin becomes a world currency. Which I believe it can. I think it has that potential to do it. And I think, like I've said, like this, to connect the world, we would need one language, which we already have pretty much English. We would need one source to connect it all, which is the internet. It connects the entire world. And then a monetary value, so you don't have, you know, US dollars, Canadian dollars, pesos, pounds, yang, and all these different currencies to try and exchange from and all this stuff. It would just be Bitcoin, probably looked at like in the US dollar terms. Obviously you could still look at it in like your own currency terms to see how much it's worth, but it would still be Bitcoin. Everything would cost in Bitcoin, and then everyone would have the same currency. But obviously that would change the way we see spending money. It wouldn't be in Bitcoin. Like, it wouldn't say this is 0.000000001 Bitcoins. It would be measured in something called Satoshi, which is that basically that huge string of zeros followed by one of Bitcoin. So it'd be like if you went to, let's say, McDonald's, like they're participating in this Chinese currency thing. If you went to McDonald's, they would say like a meal there cost 10 Satoshi, you know, so it wouldn't be a big decimal of Bitcoin. It would just say it in Satoshi, and then you would just go ahead and pay that. through your phone. And the way, these innovations happen, I think the finance space hasn't seen a big technical innovation like the other scenes like medical has. But I think it's time for a little bit of an advancement in the monetary system. And I think Bitcoin can do it and connect the world all at the same time. And it just makes too much sense not to be in it. If you have, a couple $1,000, even a couple $100 to just put into Bitcoin that you're going to invest or you didn't know what to do with, you can put it in Bitcoin, and at absolute worst, let's say you put in $2,000. At worst, you lose $2,000. It sucks. That's a lot of money, but the potential of that $2,000 to turn into $200,000 is insane, and it's way outweighs the risk of losing that $2,000. So, because if you lose it, then you lost $2,000. But if you make it, you could make $198,000 for having your Bitcoin, or like an investment like this. The 100x of Bitcoin is seen as very possible. And I know there's a lot of numbers out there, and a lot of people trying to predict the price of Bitcoin. But as long as you want to invest consistently in Bitcoin, or even just put money in there and forget about it and let it ride for a long time, then I think it's a good thing, a good time, and always a good investment is Bitcoin, because it's just insane how it acts, and it's insane how much money it could make someone. And then if it is the future currency of the world, then you're not going to want dollars, you're going to want Bitcoin to buy things. So guys, let me know what you guys think of crypto, of Bitcoin. Obviously this video is centered about Bitcoin, but there are other cryptos like Litecoin and things that I'm in as well. I think there's a future for both Bitcoin and Litecoin, but we only covered Bitcoin here. Let me know what you think of crypto. Do you think it could be a future world type currency, or do you think that it's basically nothing and there's no value behind it? So guys, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. We are on the path to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next